Ooh. All right, welcome back to That's Live podcast. I think it's episode number 4. I'm back with my main man, Ryan. How are you doing?
Miss, you know something funny? It's
Well,
episode number 2. We did a one. We did a premiere, but that was
uh,
just the
there was
the
two more
premiere.
before.
Really? Okay, cool, yeah. Premiere, and now we're back.
There was two more before. That's what I'm counting. I mean, yeah, if we count from the restart, yeah, this is probably the second one. But bro, how you doing, man? Talk to me, man. How you doing?
Miss, I, I mean, it's the name of the podcast, no? That's life for us at Chelsea. Mid-table for nearly 2 years now. It's gonna be
Well,
nearly 2 years of mid-tableness.
mm,
So yeah, um, I'm as good as you when you was doing that freestyle at your last watch along when Chelsea was 4-1 to Liverpool. I mean, if we could get a freestyle later on in the
mm,
video, that would make me much happier than I am right now. What about you, bro?
I'll try. I'll try with the freestyle. I'm not really sure. Sometimes some of these freestyles they just happen naturally. When you're in the midst of just so much pain and sorrow. Sometimes these songs they come out
Pain and
uh,
sorrow. That should be podcast name, the Pain and Sorrow
pain and sorrow.
podcast.
Yeah, that probably needs to be the new name now. Um, Ryan, you just talked about how nearly 2 seasons of mid-table. I was talking to Matisse and Eunice post All You Can Eat Chelsea yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, some of the fans, you guys, you don't get to see our conversations after the show, and I feel like sometimes, and I think much like with you and me as well, like sometimes the conversations before the recording and after the recording is a lot juicier, or not a lot juicier, but there is a lot of key conversations. I feel like sometimes it's good to record them. But Matisse, Eunice, and I, we were talking about that, potentially looking at 2 seasons of mid-table finish. And I don't know if you've caught the latest drama that's been happening, that Chelsea Football Club could be in trouble from a
Yeah.
financial standpoint. We're going to have to sell nearly about 100 million worth of players by 30th of June, um, or else we could be facing points deduction next season. So you got nearly 2 seasons of mid-table finish, no European football next season potentially, unless we beat Liverpool in the Carabao Cup and somehow make it to Conference League. I don't know. Very highly unlikely now. Liverpool are going to slap us up. If we get points deducted next season as well, you're potentially looking at 3 seasons of mid-table finish. And Eunice, myself, and Matisse were just saying, then you will have to accept that you are a mid-table team. Like, there's no two ways about it. When you endure potentially 3 seasons of mid-table finish, you're a
Yeah.
mid-table team. You're no different to the Crystal Palace. You're no different to Brentford. You're no different to Fulham and all those likes. But that is how a football club disappears.
Miss,
We've,
I'll,
we've seen
I'll
it
tell you
previously.
this. Before Chelsea, for the part since 2004, set a structure of being a winning and striving to become an elite club, right?
Yeah.
And at the moment now, with our structure, to say we did bad 1 year and come sixth, we could look back at our structure and say, you know what, we will be back to Champions League football. Because even if our outlier is sixth, the rest of our data points is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3. Right? So we'll come back next season. But
Yeah.
right now, what we're seeing here is that we have dismantled our structure. It's no longer elite structure, and it's one of a structure of a mid-table club. So now our data points are going to be 11th, 12th, 9th. eighth, and now our outlier might be fourth. And we have to wish that one day we could come fourth again. Because now our data points are that. And that is the situation we're in right now due to our structure.
That's scary, man. Like, I know sometimes we joke about it and we have a little bit of giggle about it, but I think a lot of fans are not realizing that this can potentially happen to Chelsea Football Club. Like, we've seen it happen to others previously, in the likes of Leeds. Once upon a time was a Champions League team, disappeared into Championship, and I think even below that. Nottingham
Yeah.
Forest, I think, once upon a time were two-time European champions. They disappeared. Like, this can happen, right? Like this, if we continue the way what you just said, like all the data points are sort of pointing towards that we're gonna continue to finish in this area, unless something drastically we change from an ownership point of view, the vision, and stop with all of these youth program.
Yeah.
Once you're in that midst of that mid-table scenario, I think it's going to be very difficult to come out of that.
Yeah, it will be difficult. And now, right now, is that we have invested more than $1 billion. I was saying 1 billion a year ago, but now it's February. So more than $1 billion into this project. But now we have to undo the damage of this project, which is going to cost more. But as you said, Chelsea could be in trouble and we have to sell players up to this amount of money. So now we're not undoing damage to our squad to make us better. We're undoing damage financially. So we can't even think about being better as a squad yet. And that's the kind of position we are in right now. And that begs the question if our structure can change to improve results as yet, because we have dug ourselves into a grave financially. Our players can't yet because they are young players.
Yeah.
There's only one part of this hierarchy that could actually bring us a bit of hope, and that has to be a manager who could coach us in this situation, not to win titles, but to push us back to European football.
Yeah.
It has to start from there, and then we could try to build blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks to get us back so our data points could be top 4 again. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I think this is what the owners hoped for. This is why I think the objective was this season to somehow make it to Champions League football again, because they're really banking on what you just said, that they needed a gaffer, they needed a manager that was going to come in with the set of players that they've got and to develop them, take them to Europe, bring that financial stability back, because money from Europe, extra revenue from match days because you're playing more matches,
Yeah.
and then put more blocks. But now there's a huge setback because we're nowhere near. We in fact, I don't know if you know this, Ryan. Exactly this time last year, same points, same position in the table. 31 points, 10th. This time last year. So
Yeah.
we've not moved a needle. So I think the owners are now, and I've said this recently in some of my videos, that
We have moved a needle, Miz. We have moved backwards. Back then, we had a squad of experienced players who could have kept us spine still and build upon. Right now, we're in this position with no sun behind the clouds. That is the position we're in. We need to find a planet that resembles the sun, and we're on the search. We have to go out this galaxy right now, because back then we could have still kept core players, kept a spine, and build upon that. But now we need to build a spine. How are we going to build it? And I was thinking about this question, Miz. We always talk about spine, but what would a spine look like? You can't just bring 4 world beaters and say that's going to be a spine. Why would they buy into this project? Our salary cap would never get experienced world-class spine. So how are we going to get a mixture to? We have so much questions to answer before we could ever get back to that place again.
So true. So true. In order to get a spine set up, you're going to have to spend a lot of money again, and you're going to have to spend it on experience, which it looks like our board, they don't want to. They really
Yeah.
are against anyone above 25, hell, above 23. And they don't want to pay those wages. I think the limit is at max 150,000. They don't want to pay anywhere in the vicinity of in excess of 150,000,
Yeah.
But they can't. Do you know what I mean, Ryan? It's not that there is a factor of they don't want to, but I think financially now, as you said, like from a footballing point of view, we have not been able to achieve what we set out to achieve, which was this year to at least make it into Europe. But now financially, we find ourselves in that grave that you've just said. Now,
Yeah.
to rectify all of this, in order to get better players, you can't do that because you got to rectify financially first.
Yeah.
It's a proper mess. It's now got to a situation where I think you mentioned this in the last podcast, the comeback podcast, where you said that we now just need luck. We just need to get so lucky
Yeah. An outlier. Yeah.
to get us out of this. It has nothing to do with design anymore. It has nothing to do with me making a decision and making an astute, knowledgeable, educated decision to get Chelsea back on track. It's more, I'm just going to do this and see if it works out.
Miz, we are Bayer Leverkusen right now.
So
I'm
true.
Yeah, we are Bayer Leverkusen right now. And we just need to try to find luck. We need to try to find that luck from somewhere. That luck of the draw of managers to get us to a place that we don't have the structure to keep. So at the moment, we don't have the structure to keep that success anymore. So even if we do get that success, will we be just a Leicester City? Will it be a one-off?
Yeah.
Because we don't have a structure to keep success, to keep top four. So even if we get to that point, who is to say that we'll stay there?
It's mad. It's absolutely mad, bro. The consequence of all of this, Ryan, what I'm seeing lately is that when a club is, from a footballing point of view, not meeting the objectives, not seeing the success, now we are also seeing that financially we could be in the mud as well. Now it's a recipe of disaster. The consequence of all of this is, Ryan, I'm starting to see some parts of the fan base, some of the players that we know are good players,
Yeah.
they're losing their credibility as well. Like, I'm seeing some parts of the fan base saying Caicedo is not a good player. I'm seeing some parts of the fan base saying Enzo Fernandez is no better than Jorginho. I'm seeing some parts of the fan base saying XYZ, like many players, like Levi Colwell, this, that, the other. This is
Yeah.
where I get even more worried that we are now slowly convincing some parts of the fan base that even the better, like, there's a handful of players in our squad that we can name, and I'm pretty sure we will do that in this podcast. We can say categorically, you know what, you're probably not Chelsea level. Like, we've seen enough of you, you're probably not Chelsea level.
Yeah.
But then there's also a good number of players that we can say, now, you know what, with a better manager, I know you're a better player. I know you're a better player than this. But we're getting
Yeah.
into a situation where those better players, and this is so reminiscent of when Frank Lampard was our manager first time around before Thomas Tuchel took over. We're getting into a situation where no players are rated anymore. Get rid of everyone. Again,
Yeah.
that scares me, Ryan. That really does scare me. Because these players, soon they'll just won't be willing to stay at Chelsea Football Club. They'll be like, no, this is too my reputation, my credibility is getting damaged by being at Chelsea Football Club because the club just keeps losing on a weekly basis.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, so I think that, listening to it there is an interesting thing because our whole philosophy probably is built on, you know, improving these players, selling them for profits, and improving the standard of our team too, right? But as
Yeah.
we mentioned last time in our podcast, if you missed it, go back and listen to it, that we don't have a structure right now to improve these young players, right? Because
Yeah.
these young players, they need a spine to develop as limbs, and maybe one day they could become a spine. But right now, they don't have the foundation to really develop. And if they don't have that foundation to develop, their value are going to decrease. Their potential are going to decrease. And now that we're going to have people on wages here that we can't get rid of for the prices that we want. And now it's going to force us to sell players who might have potential. You say we need to get $100 million. You think we're going to sell players who can't make it at Chelsea? No, because nobody's going to buy them for the price that we would call. We're going to end up selling people that could make it at Chelsea, and that would do worse for us. So,
Ryan, do you remember Arsenal Football Club under Arsene Wenger? Every time they ended up getting a team that looked like they were going to compete for the Premier League title, boom, Sami Nasri sold. Boom, Robin Van Persie sold. Boom, Cesc Fabregas sold. Boom, Adebayo sold. I can honestly picture Chelsea Football Club, what you just said. This is not too far-fetched, When Chelsea gets into a problem where you're not winning and you're financially in strife, down the track, players like Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is a very exciting asset for us. We bought him for about roughly 40, 42 million, something like that. He's probably already close to doubled his value so far. Chelsea will probably start looking, do you know what? In order for me to stay sustainable, it's probably better to just get rid of Cole Palmer and try and land another Cole Palmer in the future. You know what I'm trying to say?
yeah, and it goes to show, like, how could this board have messed up so much that they are billionaire owners investing billion of dollars to get us to the point that we would eventually stay a mid-table club because of that same reason, that we would have to sell our good players and keep the deadwood, and in hopes that they develop, and it's going to be a domino effect. And soon
Yeah.
enough that we will, I think, miss, we could probably still turn back in the summer, let Pochettino leave, get a manager in, and try to get a spine. Like, say, get a Mourinho, and he's a specialist in these kind of projects. Any club he goes, that's what he does in his first summer. Gets a spine. It may not be the the end goal spine, but he will get a 31-year-old to fit the role of that spine in midfield. And then he will get a striker who could do it for 18 months.
But
And
that
then,
will require, Ryan, for the owners to change the policy, their philosophy. Can you see them do this?
um, honestly, Miz, I think that's just hopes and dreams from us. I
Yeah.
do not think they. I think I told you that when you tell white lies, you have to keep on telling them. You can't turn back. And right now we have 1 billion white lies, £1 billion spent, and we can't turn back. I think we need the luck of a draw of a manager, and we need our that Xabi Alonso type of season to help us. And hopefully we could try to maintain that. But I don't see it happening.
It's crazy, man. Like I feel soon some of these players that have some level of credibility. I know
Yeah.
even though they're in at Chelsea on a long-term contract, they're gonna kick up a fuss, right? Like if
Yeah.
you put yourself in a real life situation and you're at a workplace that is, you know, underachieving or just mediocre, like just not performing well enough, you'll not stick around. Like I've been into organizations where that's happened, where the success is not there, and good people leave to go to better organizations
Yeah.
because they want to make something out of their career. I will not be surprised if Enzo will probably be the first one, because there's a lot of talk about Enzo Fernandez at the moment, right? Pochettino is unable to utilize him correctly. Pochettino, I think, is not aware of his strengths and weaknesses. Pochettino seems to be deploying him sometimes as someone who is further up the field, when we know from evidence of Argentina and Benfica is far better suited to be involved in the first phase and then transition from first phase to the second phase to the third. But if you place him up front, his game gets neutralized. Someone like Enzo Fernandez, we've also seen recent quotes from his dad saying that, he's been telling his son to stay patient and keep working hard. He does get frustrated. He doesn't want to lose all the time. He himself hasn't seen Chelsea better than 10th, 9th, or whatever recently. Like, he's not seen Chelsea at a higher level. I don't even know if how many wins he's seen under Chelsea Football Club, to be honest. Probably wouldn't be that many. I feel if this continues for a little bit longer, he might be the first player to start putting up his hand and say, I can't let my good years of my career, where my credibility is getting destroyed. Like, this player could go anywhere around the world.
Could go Real Madrid, could go anywhere.
And could be winning silverware and could be
getting $300,000 more per week.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Getting now. Miss, I'm gonna tell you something. Right now, nobody has kicked open that door to leave yet. And I think because after they thought the first season was a one-off, but when one becomes two and two becomes going to three, that door will kick open. And when it kicks open, we can't close it back. Because as you said, Cole Palmer would want to go. And then one by one, all the people that we've banked on to build our team will want to leave. And what we're going to do is start being like Tottenham, being like Levy, and holding players hostage who doesn't want to be at Chelsea. Chelsea used to be a prideful club under Roman. That if you want to leave, go. But if you want to win trophies, stay. Now, I could see us becoming like a Tottenham. If you want to leave, well, buy FIFA and leave on FIFA.
If you want to leave, get a club that's going to pay 100 million for you.
Yeah, or download FIFA and play manager mode and sell yourself. But we're not. That's the only way you're gonna leave, and I could see us becoming like that. And that's something that's very worrying.
You know what? We've seen this sort of stuff, as you said, from other clubs. We've seen it when other clubs, they're not delivering and their key players want to leave. We've seen those players are held hostage. But it's not a good environment.
And the thing is, if quality players are leaving Chelsea, what quality players are going to come here? And what would be the incentive to come at Chelsea? Money.
Just in Europe. No, we can't even give the money anymore.
Yeah. So we cannot. It reaches a stage, Miss, that we can't even build a spine right now with world-class players.
Ryan, we were going for John Duran.
Yeah, I know.
Like, this is legit. Like, there's no joke, bro. Like, Matt Law
and Benzema was available.
And Benzema, and they categorically said no to him. They were going after John Duran for 3 big reasons: low wages, low transfer fee, under 23.
Yeah, it's like Leonardo DiCaprio, only under 23s. It's like, Nothing will last.
I thought John Duran was more of a short-term thing. I think that might be a long-term thing, you know.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, here we are thinking maybe a Victor Osimhen in the summer, maybe a Ivan Toney in the summer. How? You're gonna have to sell to firstly to balance the books, and you're gonna have to pay the release clause of Victor Osimhen, which is approximately about 120 or something million euros. Then the wages of Victor Osimhen is not going to be 150k because Victor Osimhen can easily earn way more than that. You're looking at minimum 200k for Victor Osimhen, minimum. Similarly with Ivan Toney, you know, Brentford's going to ask for a lot of money. But on top of that, if you have no Europe, it doesn't make it so enticing. On top of that, as you said, one player, I think this is what you said last podcast, one player ain't going to change anything at Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah.
Because you do need that spine and you need a manager that's going to be able to set us up correctly. Bro, I'm not sure whether we're going to get a high quality striker, high quality players down the track, you know. I think it's going to be more of these 19, 20-year-olds and just hope. Everything is about hope with Chelsea Football Club. It's nothing as a surety. It's all hope.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, like talking about all of this right now, I could think about two clubs in recent history that got out of the situation we are in right now. And that's Liverpool. And that's a better success story. And then it is Arsenal. And the way I think about it is that for Liverpool, they are actually changed their structure for Klopp. For the kind of players they recruited,
Right.
they changed the structure for Klopp. The kind of recruitment they did was all seen off by Klopp.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And not only that, so recruitment had 70% of the credible, like, applause for it.
Yep.
You got players on cheap-ish, like, you know, like Mane and Salah, etc., Firmino, and then you spent big bucks on a spine like Alisson, Van Dijk.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That is something that, so if Chelsea were to change their structure and really get a world-class manager who could take a step back to build something special, right, and get them like a Mourinho, and get them a recruitment where we could get players for 30 million and then one or two players for expensive, we could turn it around. Or we might have to go the Arsenal route, where Arsenal structure have not changed. They are still the same Arsenal. However, Arteta has done miracles for them. With the players he brought in, the players he improved, the structure he had. And the way I see Chelsea leading is that something like Klopp could happen with really focus and intent. And something like Arteta happens by mistake and chance.
So true.
And what Chelsea, there's not going to be no intent for Chelsea. This Duran thing shows that as of 3-4 days ago, they are not changing their mind. And it's nearly 2 years in right now. And it's going to happen by chance for Chelsea. And that's the position we're in right now.
Do you know what? A couple of things that you said over here. First of all, you talked about getting someone like, for instance, Mourinho, or you've sort of likened the situation that Liverpool got Klopp, and they built the team around Klopp purely what is best for him to deliver his style of football.
Yes.
If you look at our situation right now, our board and our owners, they assembled a squad, and it's as if then they just got Poch. They didn't really put the two together.
Yeah.
They assembled a squad, and then they thought, you know what, Poch is very good with young people. We'll just get Poch.
Yeah, he's a high school teacher.
He's a high school teacher. But what they failed to realize that these kids are not suitable to what Poch probably wants to do. Right? So there's two things. Either if you want to keep Poch, let's say for argument's sake, if you want to keep Poch, you have to design a team suitable to his needs. And if you don't want to do that, then you have to, as you said, just keep trial and error. Keep getting rid of the manager, and just by luck, by chance,
We'll get a Xavi
it's
Alonso or Arteta.
yeah, like a manager, by luck, by chance, you somehow select and it matches with the players that you have.
Yes.
So make a decision. Which route do you want to go with? Because the current situation with Poch and the squad that we have, it's not going to work out.
I don't even know if it's pride as a thing, because I know that I just said that it's a lot of too much white lies to turn back now, right? But what is going to cost you more money in the long run? Like keep on firing and hiring and selling and buying, or making a strategy now? Yes, it's 2 years down the road. Yes, you messed up, but you could still turn it around. I don't think it's too late, but I think it's getting too late, and that gap closing and closing until it's just a brick wall and we can't get past it unless there's a miracle. And Miss, let me ask you a question. You genuinely think that these owners gonna change how they care about things?
I don't think they will, I don't think they will. I think for these owners, they're more concentrated on how to build different revenue streams and how to make a little bit more profit. I don't think they're too interested about winning anything.
I mean,
I think, yeah,
they talked about brand exposure and they sold dreams to our fans and everybody.
yeah,
What brand Chelsea is now? What brand it is
pathetic.
is
It's not
is
a,
is is,
it's,
is shit.
yeah,
To
it's
be
not a
honest.
brand that you would probably want to associate yourself with. Like, it's not. It's not a coincidence, Ryan, that we find it difficult to find sponsorships. It's not a coincidence because no sponsor really wants to associate themselves with Chelsea.
No, and if you want to spread a brand, become a global entity. They said London was the biggest, one of the biggest capitals in the world, and they want to make it a big entity, Chelsea. Let me ask you something, Miz, right? You are from Australia, right?
Yeah,
And you have your friends who have kids who are from ages 0 to 6, right?
yeah.
They flip on TV. What teams they're going to want to support?
Bro, Manchester City straight up.
Yep. Manchester City, Liverpool.
Yeah,
That's what
Arsenal.
they and back in 2005 to 2012, you were a
Chelsea.
child, you
Chelsea.
came on TV, and I'm not talking about from England where your parents and you're born there, right? I'm talking
Mm.
about global entity to become a Real Madrid or a Barcelona.
Yeah.
Children putting on the TV and they see Chelsea getting hammered. They're seeing shit on the field, most boring, pathetic football,
Mm.
and they don't care. So you could buy how much clubs you want. You could become feeder club, send players on loan, Strasbourg, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Become RB Chelsea, you know. But at the end of the day, or Chelsea Hove Albion. But at the end of the day, no, this brand they're building is a cheap brand. Is a $10 brand. It's not a $1,000 brand anymore. And that's what we have become due to losing. Losing is a habit and it gives momentum. And now our tires are in quicksand and we're not moving anywhere forward unless there's some huge change. And that's just the truth. Everything they've tried is gone.
This is such a good point that you brought up, Ryan. I mean, the new generation that are watching football, Why will they support Chelsea? You tell me. Give me some of the reasons why they would support Chelsea.
I don't know. Maybe they like blue. Color
That
blue.
might be the only reason. That might be
Yo,
the only reason that because of a color. But
when I, when I was a
when
kid
they're
and Chelsea were
witnessing
on TV,
when they're witnessing Liverpool battering us, what will make them follow Chelsea?
yeah, and when I was a kid and Chelsea was on and Mourinho was there, it was just badass. And Lampard with his wet hair in the rain scoring free kicks, and John Terry fighting people and hard fouls, and Drogba scoring those goals. We were brute force. We were rebellion. It was us against the world. It was Chelsea versus the world. It was invigorating, like
It was
goosebumps.
you wanted
Support.
to be a Chelsea fan.
You
You
wanted
wanted
to
to be.
put
Yeah.
on that blue shirt and say, you know
Yeah.
what, F everybody else. F your team. I don't care if you win for 30 years. You know why? Because right now we winning every year.
Mm.
And we new here and we here to stay. And now there's nothing nothing rebellious about Chelsea. There's nothing exciting or invigorating about Chelsea. We are I don't know, we're weak. We're weak in mind, we're weak in stature, we're weak in performance, we're weak in strategy, we're weak in structure. And that's just why would they support us right now?
So true. So true. They talk about, as you said, creating a global brand. You go across the world, like whether it's in Asia, Middle East, in America, in the Caribbean, wherever.
Hmm.
What would people want to support Chelsea right now for?
I don't know.
Like, even you don't even need to be a young fan. Let's say a fan that is just starting to watch football
Yeah.
in their late teens, early 20s. They're just starting to watch football. What will make them excited to be a Chelsea fan?
Yeah, yeah. Exactly.
We don't even play good football. Like, I could understand, you know what, Chelsea, although they're losing, they play very, very good football. They're probably more likely to be Brighton fans
Yeah.
before Chelsea.
But
Because
Miss, let me
Brighton
just
play good football.
let me just ask you a question. You know, I said it just now, a few minutes ago, right? I said they got it wrong and they made mistakes. Def- but let me ask you a question, Miss. Did these owners ever wanted to win with Chelsea, or was it just revenue streams? Revenue streams, stay for the 10 years, revenue streams.
It's
Get
a
what you
very
could from Chelsea and bust it out. Because at the end of the day, they fed us all these paragraphs and essays and why we're gonna become the best and biggest team in England. And right now, it doesn't seem that they are in panic or they are messing up. It seems that they're right on plan.
this is actually a very good point, Ryan. I was pondering this a few days ago. Todd Bowley, Ryan, if you remember, when he first came into Chelsea, when they first took over, he was the chairman. He was the guy who was
Yeah.
running the show. He was going for the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo. You remember how excited we were? Like,
Yeah.
yes, CR7 to
Yeah.
Chelsea
It was
football
Miss
from here.
versus the world,
This
Cristiano
versus the
Ronaldo.
world. We were getting, I think, in the World Cup, Todd Bowley, I think, might have had a meeting with Mbappe as well. Like, they were looking for that marquee player. Like, they're looking for the brand ambassador type of a player,
Yeah.
right? This season, I think there might have been a bit of a shift. I think Todd Bowley has now taken a bit of a back seat, and Iqbali came into the frame. And I think Iqbali has clocked the whole situation here. Iqbali is thinking, wait a minute, someone like Brighton can flip players, buy them for 5 million, 6 million, and flip them for 110, 120 million on a regular basis every single window, pretty much. They're thinking, how much does a Premier League winner get? How much does a Champions League winner get? If you win the Premier League, I think it's something around 150 million, 160 million, something around like that.
Yeah.
Brighton can get that by selling just one player.
Yep.
And if you sell multiple players, which they did last summer, they're potentially earning more than winning prize in terms of silverware. You see where I'm getting with this, right?
Yep.
If Bali has clocked that, it's not essential to win. in order to make profit in football, it's actually not essential to win. It's just essential to be good enough,
Yep.
which is a problem. I think
And
this
it
is the
shows.
problem with Chelsea
It
because we're
shows
not even good enough.
they do not care where they sell to. They will sell to Manchester
Spurs.
City, Spurs.
They'll sell
And
Gallagher to Spurs, you know.
I remember one time Chelsea was full with pride. 45 million incoming for Willian from
No.
Manchester United. No, you're not going to
No.
get a Chelsea player like that.
Yeah.
No. And for us, they do not care if they sell to rivals. They don't care how we look. They just
Yeah.
care about, as you said, revenue. And sadly for us, we are here in this situation. Look at me, I'm carefree tactics. I can't even write an article anymore. What tactics? I have nothing to write, nothing to draw. I can't remember the last time I opened my little coach board app and did a video with you. It's not because there's nothing to do, nothing to talk about. It's just been lack of structure, organization, everything. I miss the days how excited we used to be for like Tuchel and Champions League, and how pumped we used to be for streams and watch alongs. It was 3 to 4 hours long and big discussions before and after matches. It was excited. You can't even bring in Advade anymore. Why are you gonna bring in Advade for? We can't talk to Advade anymore.
Chelsea's taken that away from us.
Yeah, we can't talk to Advade about Real Madrid anymore. Yeah, like why would we would ask him how does it feel to win games? You know, I remember I used to give talks to Advade, and he used to like hold his head in pain when we scored against them. No, we can't do that anymore. He's just smiling at us,
But he
smiling
laughs
down
at
at
us,
us.
bro. I
Yeah.
see him on the live chat. He goes, "Miz, your club." It's
Yeah,
the
I remember
bin,
you used to
bro.
laugh at your friend, your down under friend who supports Arsenal. You used to laugh at
Yeah.
him, and
Yeah.
now we are him.
Yeah.
We are the Arsenal fans. I used to laugh at people who used to support Arsenal and Liverpool in high school. And I was like, you're not getting out of this position anytime soon. And now we are them. It's sad.
Look, obviously, there's a lot that we spoke about owners and board, and I don't see it changing. As you said in this podcast already, one thing that we could potentially get lucky with is maybe a manager that can somehow get the best out of this lot. This is what I want to talk to you about. I think this is a good shift now to this podcast. Ryan, a large part of the fan base have fully convinced themselves that no manager can get the best out of this squad. This squad is rubbish. They're fully convinced themselves that every single player in this squad is pathetic. They're valueless. Spend another $1 billion to rectify the situation. Am I a fool to think, Ryan? And I know we've mentioned Jose, and a lot of people, they get upset when we mention Jose. So we're going to, for a time being, we're not even going to talk about alternative managers.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you, am I a fool to think that there has to be a manager that can get the best out of this lot? Like, is there no one in this world can do anything with this squad? Like, this squad is so pathetic.
I do not think it's so pathetic, one. But the way I see it right now is that, as you said, this squad was not built in the eyes of a manager. And honestly, I do not think our recruitment thinks about building a cohesive squad, because our owners don't want to hear about building something that fits together like a puzzle. They just want individual pieces that's going to get them most profit in 5 years' time.
Correct.
So they don't think about how piece A is going to fit with B and C and D to give us a nice picture.
Yeah.
They are thinking about one piece of puzzle, most profit, right? So are all our players useless? No. We have actually pieces of the puzzle that we could improve and develop. We could color it, put back some paint on it, and make it look how it's supposed to look. Has potential to. But you put them pieces together and it's still going to have pieces of that puzzle that is missing to make us a cohesive team. We're still missing that striker. We're still missing a good defense. We're still missing, pieces of our team that is missing. And the thing is, our owners cannot realize that. They do not know football. And I
Yeah.
think that the football brains on board, they do not want them to flex their muscles and create a squad. They want them to recruit people like on FIFA, bring up names on a sheet, and they go and buy them.
So true.
So even if we get our manager to come in, there has to be a change where these owners listen to our manager to fill the remaining pieces of the puzzle to give us a cohesive picture. Has our owners shown a track record of trying to do that? No. So even if a manager comes, he could get us playing a little bit better football. But at the end of the day, I see those missing pieces like gaps in our pipe. So
Yeah.
even though the water might flow a little better, if we cover up some gaps and make the puzzle a bit better, with those holes, there's still going to be leaks. And it still would not improve us as much as it could. So I think with our owners and how they look at things, even a manager needs them to change their ways and buy for them, which is a huge ask in my eyes.
Do you know what? I've said this for the longest of time that I think our owners have underestimated the role of a manager.
Yeah.
I think what they really thought was it's just as simple as getting a bunch of players and then who cares who the manager is? Like, who really cares? Like, as long as you know how to manage, you have some level of experience at management, just go out there and manage.
It's like baseball. Just go and hit the ball.
Just go. Like, who cares?
Run.
And it's crazy, Ryan, that even after so long now, nearly 2 seasons, they are still not like. And this is what I said earlier on. Like, if you want to persist with Poch, get Poch to put input into who needs to come into the team. I don't know why they're in this mindset, Ryan, that it only has to be young players. Like, why are they in this mindset that perhaps you can potentially have some balance, you can have some experienced players mixed in with some youth, and as you see success, as the team keeps winning, essentially players develop more, they become more rounded, and then those players will then fetch a lot more money. Why are they in this thought process, in this loop, that only a young player can bring profit? But we've said this in the last episode as well. This model that they have running, they're really banking on maybe 1 out of 20 youngsters to click. Because we're already seeing that Mudryk is a flop. A lot of people are saying that Mudryk is probably not even a footballer anymore. That's 62 million spent there, and that's a big financial problem for Chelsea, who are already in such financial mess, to have a 62 million worth of issue right there in Mudryk. Madueke ain't any better either.
Nope.
So many. Levi Colwell, another one. A lot of people are starting to not appreciate Levi Colwell. So why aren't these owners now snapping out, as you said, the white lies? Once you say one white lie, once you say 1 billion worth of white lie, you just have to continue. Why can't they just for a second just go, you know what? Oh my God, we are suffering. Let's admit we've effed up. And let's take an approach where if we actually go for winning as the primary objective, then the consequence of winning will be the players will up their value and we can still get the profit.
Yeah.
Do you know where I'm going with this? Like, you don't need to model yourself like Brighton.
And the thing is, model yourself as Brighton, you'll get results as Brighton, right? The thing is, Chelsea was at a statia when Roman left, right? When they were building back their hierarchy, we could have gotten recruiters, we could have gotten people from clubs that knew how to win.
Mm.
We could have gone to Atletico Madrid and got their director. We could have
Yes.
gotten go to other clubs. It had many. I remember at that time, it had many people leaving their posts in bigger clubs all over Europe in the top three clubs. Instead, we went for people from Leipzig, RB teams, Brighton, things like that, and expected to build a squad like a Real Madrid. You're asking a high school recruiter to build a national Olympics team. That's what you're asking to do. You said, you who recruit people for high school football, build a Olympics football team for me, please. And that's what we have done. So we, even if our manager comes, right,
Yeah.
still getting the recruitment that we have right now to meet the needs of our manager, it still would not be cohesive enough. Because the type of scouts and things like that we have just isn't fitting the model of a high class manager right now.
Yeah.
And they don't have the knowledge or know. Tell me, when did anybody in our backroom staff build a champion winning team? Who there has recruited and built a team that won titles in our backroom right now? Tell me, what? There's none.
No one.
They have built a team that won nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. We
Nothing.
don't have one. I know what we're going to win, Miss. Probably nothing with the team that we're building. So that
That's
is
such a good point.
how
Yeah.
you going to that is and this is Chelsea, $1 billion. I can't even get a job right now because people need proven. You can't get a job in 2024 in the smallest of companies, smallest of entry positions without having proven job experience that you could deliver for what we are trying to build. But a multi-billion-dollar company could hire people for a position who have never done that job before. That is Chelsea Football Club right now, this day and age.
You've just
I,
smashed it, bro. You absolutely nailed it. You absolutely nailed it. We don't have winners, bro. We don't have winners from top to bottom.
as if any person backroom staff come from Atletico Madrid or Barcelona and come at Chelsea, they will stay for 5 months, they will laugh, and they will leave. They will laugh at us, and we are getting managers who will not laugh at us, but they will get laughed at. So Pochettino would not laugh at us. He would not turn around. He can't even complain in the media because he signed up. He knew what he was signing up for.
He knew. He knew. He knew what he signed up for.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this, Miz. Maybe Graham Potter
Oh no.
was
That's
not all of a bad manager, Miz.
That's life, you know.
Potter ball. Listen, I remember days when me and you was on, and the Potter mania was running wild on me. I don't even know who I become. I changed my profile picture to Graham Potter, right? And I don't
By
know,
the way, it only
Pochettino,
lasted for 3 weeks.
Miz, but at least it didn't just last for one Man City game. So at the end of the day, Miz, I think that right now it's just rotten from inside out. Rotten.
You know, contrary to this, you have Man United, who are also in a lot of mud.
Yeah.
So many issues. Every other day, a particular player is kicking up fuss. Ronaldo, we saw last year.
Yeah.
Jadon Sancho, issues with Harry Maguire, Varane, Casemiro, recently Rashford.
Yeah.
But even they, with this new structure revamp that they had, where Ineos came in and bought 25% of Manchester United shares, which exclusively says you are running the football and the Glazers are now purely just the owners who are going to reap the benefits of profits. They don't have any say in the footballing side of things. They're just owners. They've invested money. They expect some returns back.
Yeah.
Ineos, they've taken 25% of the shares, and they have also signed an agreement that they are going to run the footballing side of things. 25% shares, and I want to run the footballing side of things. Do you know what they did? The first thing. Do you know their first move they did? They're not worried about all of these shenanigans that's happening in front of them. They're not worried about the manager. They're not worried about the players and all these craziness that's happening right in front of their eyes. You know what the first move Ineos did? They got the brother from Manchester City that's running the show there.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
Barada. They saw this guy and said, do you know what? We first need some sanity at the football club.
Yes.
We first need a particular individual to come here who's got the know-how, who's got the experience of winning, not just
Exactly.
with Manchester City, but with Barcelona, prime Barcelona,
Yes.
Manchester City, years and years are with them. Let's get this guy first, and let's actually start operating as a proper football club again.
Yes.
Let's get someone who knows how to win, someone who knows how to do the deals correctly, someone who's just going to bring some level of sanity back into this football club. They got this guy, and they've not done anything else this winter. They said, you know what?
Let's wait and
Step by step. Wait and see. Let's observe. Let's take in information first. We're not going to come in willy-nilly with our guns flying, get rid of everyone, bring a whole heap of new people who are not even elite. Man United, you know what? That move itself, Ryan, made me think, oh my God. I think they're back, you know.
Yeah.
They've not done anything else. But it like brought shivers down my spine. Like it made me start thinking they might be on the right track, you know, now.
Yes. Yeah. And the thing is, that was exactly what I said. Chelsea had the stature and name and reputation where they could have gone to any club in the world, Real Madrid, Barcelona, any huge top winning club, and get brains from there to join our recruitment and strategy plan and everything like that. Instead, what we did, Miss, we fired our Champions League winning manager after he built his squad, after he got his players. We fired our why? Because he didn't reply in the WhatsApp groups.
He left them at blue tick.
Blue ticks. Yeah. And Ms., I used to be on your channel. I never used to want to say nothing about owners. I just want to talk tactics.
Yeah.
But bro, I didn't do a video in a year. I didn't do tactics. I just so thickened by Chelsea right now. And I just feel like when I come on this Stats Life podcast, I just have nothing to lose right now. I don't care. I don't have followers. I have nothing. Don't even have a profile really. I just miss my club. I used to never miss a Chelsea game before. It used to, life is difficult and used to give you something to look forward to. And right now with Chelsea, it brings you more down than up. This club used to bring so much happiness to people all over the world. People who were sick, older people, young children. And you know what? They've come in and they've took that happiness away from people. And they've took that joy and something that people loved. And us as fans have to remember the kind of club that we have, the impact it had on lives, the impact it had on the joy of people. And all our English fans wouldn't like me saying this because they're protective and they want to do whatever they want to do, right? But this is a global entity that made so much people happy and look forward. And they've stole that. And us as fans can't forget the type of club we have, the type of standards they set, and the type of happiness and memories they brought for the past 2 decades
Mm.
to people. And I think that the board could forget it. There's no manager that remembers Chelsea how it used to be or cares about it. We have a
Yeah.
Tottenham manager right now, and we had a Brighton one, right? Our board baseball, right? Like they want us to play soccer. They don't want to play football, right? We're soccer players, right?
Mm.
And we, our players are young players who honestly just thinking about the next step right now. They don't care about Chelsea. They don't probably, they're thinking, their agents probably thinking what's the next step.
Yeah.
The only part of, and I always say this since last year, and I'm sad as to could still say it a year after, there. But the only thing in our and these little hierarchies here that remains the same as the fans. The fans cannot forget Chelsea, who it used to be. And the fans need to uphold that standard in any way we could with these podcasts, with our tweets, with our, we can't forget the standard we used to have. And obviously do it in a respectful way. Don't hate and don't curse other people. It's just football at the end of the day, right? By
Mm.
the end of the day, our fans can't forget the standard. Because once the fans forget the standard, then our club is gone. Where's the only thing that holding this club to where it used to be now? There's no other part of it. So I'm not saying be disrespectful and stuff, but I'm saying when you're analyzing Chelsea, think that don't forget who we are and who we should be and who we should continue to be. And do it with respect, but don't forget it.
And you know what? Ultimately, it's down to us, as you said, to uphold the standard. We will eventually will have to create the noise. You know, match going
Yeah.
fans, people in social media, people here. You're right, because we're the only ones that can force, hopefully, a change.
Yeah, and
It's crazy.
respectfully with actual conversation, going actual suggestions and points, not cursing and
Yeah,
hating and shouting, but actual, talking about strategy, how things could be for the better, how things could change, what way we could go. Those kind of discourse. We live in a social media age that ears are open,
yeah,
and you never know who's listening to what. At the end of the day, encourage good discourse and remember the type of Chelsea you are. Do not encourage cussing out, things like that. But encourage good discourse about strategy, and that could help uplift, you know, and not uplift, but keep the standard where we were at for 2 decades, you
yeah.
know?
And it's crazy, as I said earlier, and we're going to slowly wrap things up on this note,
Yeah.
that certain fans, Ryan, they're getting brainwashed. I see it, bro. I see it in live streams. I see it in Twitter. I see it in my comments. They're getting brainwashed to the point
Yeah.
where they are believing in this philosophy from the owners. They are believing in what Pochettino is doing. They're believing in everything, even though it's not delivering. They're just of this belief that it's gonna somehow come around. And I feel like saying, just open your eyes and just analyze everything critically. How can
Yeah.
it? How can it? No other clubs have done what we are doing and won stuff. Like, I can't think of one example, a club that has a similar model to us: youth, profit, manager of the ilk of Poch, and actually won stuff. Like, I can't think of a club that's done this besides maybe the one anomaly, as you keep referring, by chance, by luck, Leicester City.
Yeah.
You know, they've done it with Claudio Ranieri. With somehow they put that entire piece together. I don't know how it happened.
Even Ranieri was a world class manager who
Yeah,
back then, who with experience, who knew how to win with what he
exactly. And
had.
that's one thing. You can also probably say Leicester City winning the FA Cup against us, Brendan Rodgers. But these things don't happen on a regular basis, man. They don't just
Yeah.
materialize.
Amazing. Let me tell you, things this could get from bad to worse anytime. You think if Pochettino leaves, I won't be surprised if we have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Chelsea one day. I
Oh
won't be
my God.
surprised if we. These are the kind of managers that will come at Chelsea right now. Like, I don't see a way out right now unless something changes from the top.
Mm.
Like, for them to give Mourinho, they do not want to give the manager the keys. They want to
They
open the door
don't.
for the manager.
Correct.
Come in there, manager, close the door and lock the door, and I'll keep the
Yeah.
keys.
Yep. Yep.
But they have, if you bring a manager like Mourinho or something, give them the keys. Because even at Roma gave Mourinho the keys with what they
Yeah.
had. It might not be big goal keys, but it was keys. And he
Yeah.
got to get his pieces. Actually, Mourinho probably built that whole team, what the pieces he wanted, his little spine, and to win Europa League or Conference League,
Yeah.
right?
Should have
And
won the Europa. Yeah.
yeah. And that's what they would with these owners, sorry, give a manager the keys. Because I'm
They
gonna tell you, Graham Potter did not get the keys at Chelsea.
no.
He did not get the keys. And I don't know, I know you do not rate Frank, and I do not rate him as a manager, as a top class manager. I still think he has something in him. But
Yeah.
but you watch that podcast I released like a week ago?
Yeah.
And he's
Overlap.
saying that
Yeah.
he came in, he couldn't run one training session. Like the amount
Yeah.
of players we had and everything like that. Like managers are coming into Chelsea and they feel they are with an impossible task. And you are right, they just watch managers like they're school teachers, like make
Yeah.
everybody be quiet on the bus and let it go somewhere. But that is
let,
not.
it, let it go somewhere.
Yeah. Just be quiet. Don't
Don't say
misbehave.
anything. That's it. We'll see
Yeah,
where the bus goes. We'll have a look.
yeah. That's they, and it's crazy that they. It's not that they can't see and they can't hear. They could see and they could hear, but they just turn in their chin to it. And that's why we as fans have to continue uplifting the standard in stadiums, on podcasts, on everything.
Ryan. Interesting times ahead of us. We've got Wolves coming up this weekend. We've got Aston Villa in the replay. I don't know. It'll
And then after
every
that,
match.
a bunch of fixtures.
Yeah, we got City as well straight after that, I think. And we've got Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. Just small little match to worry
Yeah.
about. It will every match, Ryan, will paint a picture where this club is heading. Every single match. It will paint a picture. And I'm very keen to see where the club finishes at the end of the season and what it has achieved or what it hasn't achieved.
And you know what I don't like about this ownership too?
Mm.
I feel like they throw the towel in early on seasons. It's like if we do bad in September, okay, let's wait till January.
Yeah, it's
If we
gone.
do bad in January, let's wait till the new season.
Yep.
Yep. And whereas Roma needs to be someone who, like, if you watch the Obi Mikel,
Let's rectify
Yeah.
right now. Sack.
Yeah.
Gone. Bring in next
Yeah.
one. I need to rectify.
I mean, we came from mid-table to Champions League winner and get in top 4.
You know, if the new owners were there when Frank Lampard was there in the first season, the first time around, they probably wouldn't bring in Thomas Tuchel. You know, they'll just wait till the end of the season.
They'll bring Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank. They'd bring in a Thomas,
Yeah,
just not the one that you'd want.
Thomas Frank. Yo, remember when they were gonna bring Thomas Frank?
But it's apparently still in the cards.
Jeez,
Apparently they still talk to him. Something.
on WhatsApp.
I think they have a WhatsApp group of Thomas Frank, Arne Slot, you know, all of these. Maybe Postecoglou was there as well, but he's been taken out because now he's a Spurs manager.
Yeah,
But they had to remove him from the chat.
jeez.
They have all of these type of managers in the group chat.
Yo, you remember when Luis Enrique did an interview with Chelsea and he probably came in so thorough, so
He did.
direct with his approach.
He did.
So
That was
with
that was
what
the
players, he even brought lists of players that he might need. He
did.
watched Chelsea games. He analyzed our team. He watched who
Yeah.
might need to be sold. He did everything for this interview. You know what I said?
You're
Nope,
too much.
you're too good. No, we don't want this. We want Pochettino.
You know too much about football.
Well, yeah, you don't know enough about soccer. Okay, no soccer. We do soccer here,
We do soccer here.
right?
Do you understand soccer, Enrique?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You've come with a presentation outlining where things need to be better, who needs to stay, who needs to go. This is too much. You've done too much. You've done
Yeah.
too much for this interview. You're
Yeah,
too well prepared.
yeah.
Right.
Jeez. So I don't know, bro. That's life, I guess, right?
That's life, bro. That's life. On that note, we're going to end that. It's been another fantastic conversation. We will meet again same time next week. And we shall see what another week has transpired. We shall see what damage was brought on us over this week. Ryan, any last bit of commentary that you want to make? Ryan, you there? Crazy how I've lost Ryan right at the end. I think we might have lost Ryan. Right at the end of the show. Ryan has disappeared on us. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end it. Until next time, everyone. Smash up the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time. See ya.